Hello, everybody. My name is Aurika Savickaite. I'm a co-founder of helmetbasedventilation.com. And today we have guests from Vancouver, Canada, and Vionarica Gusti and Arpan Grover. We actually a great team of helmet in founders in Canada, and you started your project back in April, because this is when the first time we got connected. And so I want to hear how it all began and where you're at now, and hear your experience.
Yeah, so I can talk a bit about that. So we are Cosmic Medicals. We are a collective of students, medical students, engineering students, professionals, engineers, doctors. We all wanting, and other professionals who are local to Vancouver, BC, who are wanting to do something in the middle of lockdown to help with the COVID-19 crisis. Our initial mission was to develop a back mass ventilators, actually, because in case of worst case scenario. But then we diverged and we were able to develop gravity-based ventilators, and also we got looking into the helmet-based non-invasive ventilations that has been widely used in Italy. When we saw pictures and news articles in Italy, we thought to ourselves, like, well, we haven't seen these method of non-invasive ventilations in North America. Why is that? And why is it Italy has been using it widely in managing their COVID-19 patients? So we are start looking into it, and based on our research, we came across the University of Chicago research by Dr. Patel that shows the efficacy of the helmet-based ventilations in ARDS patients, and that's what got us started into we should make a helmet, our own helmet, because at the time, Italy is, most of the helmets are made on Italy by Harold Dimar or StarMed even, and they have an export ban. So in Canada at that time, we do not have any access to helmet-based ventilations, and even Silong and Amron are back-ordered and take very long time to come here. So we are on our journey to develop our own local solutions for helmet-based ventilations. So we get to look into it. We do have access to Amron helmet in the Vancouver General Hospital for use of hyperbaric chamber. So we did model our initial first helmet with the rigid ring based on the Amron helmet. But then we come to realizations that it's maybe easier to develop a non-rigid helmet because we require a specialized large 3D printer to make those big giant ring to address some of the drawback of the Amron helmet at that time. And we got connected to local industry. We are working with SEI industry in helping us creating the hood. They are helping us creating the first hood for both our rigid ring design and non-rigid ring design. And then I got connected to someone in the interior BC, Matthew Pope, who is the owner of DIY Pack Raft, who make inflatable raft packages. And then we got talking, and I asked him his help about, hey, I'm doing this project, why don't you help me prototype? Because you're making inflatables, this is very similar. So he helped us prototype the first helmet. But the helmet then evolved into SEI prototype, and we got samples from American polyfilm industry about their TPU with a different thickness. And then we think to ourselves, well, let's try and make a non-rigid ring design. And once we compare side by side our rigid ring design and non-rigid ring design, the non-rigid ring design came up to be superior in terms of comfort, ease of productions, because you don't need injection molding, you don't need molding of the neck seal as well. You could just use a heat sealer pretty much, and the earlier prototype was made with a curling iron, like a flat iron, and joining the hood with the neck seal as well. And the arc welding of the hood is thank you to the SEI Industries. But the neck seal and the hood itself is joined by the flat iron. So that's our initial prototype that is successful and performed as expected. And we also got the help by someone, Sean T. Lim in Toronto, that make the 3D printing self-sealing mechanical valve that we operate in our helmet. So we just need to make a hole and then use his valve to make that port. And the helmet-based ventilation is a simple concept, and that's why we think that our mission was very important to, at least as a nonprofit company, to raise the awareness for the community to look back and reevaluate this simple but effective technology. So that's a short story how we came here. And now we have a functioning prototype and we have a video currently. You can check the video out.
Yeah, and I will share the video. The video is really good, and I can see you sleeping with the helmet there.
Yeah.
Looks pretty comfortable. You guys did an awesome job with, showing all the benefits of the helmet, of your helmet. And like you mentioned, without the ring, without that plastic ring, the helmet is much more comfortable. And so, Arpan, tell me what did you do in this project and on your team?
Yeah, so I joined in a bit later into the project, probably around mid-April. And at that point, the rigid ring design was still in development. And then we were just initially transitioning to the non-rigid ring design. So I was initially helping doing some initial design considerations for that, and then mostly helping out with testing. So helping out with the testing of the non-rigid ring design, I also saw that it was far superior than the rigid ring, because with the rigid ring, we noticed that because we were 3D printing our designs, there was a lot of variation in terms of actually clipping the two pieces together, which caused a lot of leakage through the neck seal. And we didn't want that because it was geared towards COVID patients, and we didn't want the aerosols to be leaking from the helmet at all. So we wanted to minimize the leakage as much as we possibly could. And with the non-rigid ring design, we found that it was close to 0% leakage from a lot of the testing we've done. So having the non-rigid design was actually having to develop the non-rigid ring design was much simpler than the rigid ring design, which was also a bit better for our team as well, because we could create more prototypes just in-house and then test them right away, and do a lot of leak testing and CO2 rebreathing testing, and also do pressure containment testing, and kind of just test the whole efficacy of the design. And we actually found that it was performing very well. We were very happy with our final design.
Yeah, and also it's much cheaper, like you mentioned. You can increase production very fast if you need to, also for this type of design helmets. And you did mention that you in the past that you didn't use PVC, right?
No, we are wanting to use something that is biocompatible and something that is have a very minimal smell, plastic smells. So we settled on thermoplastic polyurethanes, and it is more expensive than PVC, but because of the elasticity of the materials, it makes a good gasket with whatever ports. So even if you don't use the 3D printed ports, we can use a normal T-piece that is corrugated, as well as with the 22 ID connector, and connected to another T-piece as the ports. So the TPU hood itself become a gasket that makes a very secure connections.
Yeah, we also noticed that using the TPU as a neck seal was very comfortable when we were using it, at least. It was pretty easy to get on as well, and just around the neck, wearing it for 4 hours even, it was very comfortable around the neck.
Oh, so who did wear it for 4 hours? Who was the lucky one?
It was like on and off. We'd wear it for like an hour and then take it off and then put it back on.
Mhm.
Both me and Fiona have worn it for repeated
The
times.
longest I wore is like 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
During the filming, like that's the longest probably we wear.
Mhm.
Yeah, but once it's in there, because of its very thin TPU, it kind of attaches your neck, but without constricting it, because the positive pressures, that's what makes the seal really good, is the positive pressures against your neck. Yeah, the thin TPU just like come from your necks and make a good seals for them.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what happens when you inflate the helmet. It starts to rise and actually makes it even better than next seal, you know.
Yes.
So, you know, we have to control so it doesn't rise too high, but at the same time that, you know, pressure up actually makes it better for the next seal and prevents the leakage. And then, so right now, I know that you are looking for physicians or hospitals who would like to try the helmet. And I think at this moment in Canada, also in other countries where COVID cases are lower, it's the good time to learn the system. And it's better environment to learn something new in a non-stressful situation. So my advice would be for anyone who's watching this and reading this article and watching this interview, actually to share the information and hopefully you will find physicians who are willing to do a trial right now, because it can be used not just for the COVID patients. This University of Chicago paper by Dr. Patel, showed its use for the ARDS patients, especially the ones who have higher mortality risk if they get intubated. So now it's the time to actually prepare for that next wave that probably will come in fall. And this is what actually Italian doctors are suggesting. And I follow them on Twitter, and when their cases dropped, they said, well, let's take a deep breath now, but we should not be resting. We should be preparing for the next wave. Right now, as we know, the Southern Hemisphere is experiencing what we had happening here in the U.S. and we still have happening in the U.S., unfortunately, but being in big need of help, and helmet-based ventilation would be a great setup, great option for their patients. So yeah, any hospitals, any physicians who really wanted to learn more about helmet-based ventilation, and your helmet would be great for trials. And we know already that in Canada, Canada have already approved helmet non-invasive ventilation for the COVID patients, which is great news. So you have more freedom and you have better support from your government to use that system on your patients. And you're also going through the approvals, right? When your design is finalized, and can you tell me a little bit more about that to our listeners?
Yeah, we are currently pursuing Health Canada clinical trial interim orders. What it will not enables us to do is to do a clinical trial using the helmet design that we developed. We've been postponing our medical device interim order approval, just waiting until we can have some good data from our clinical trial, as well as to secure manufacturers who are willing to work with us and that has the appropriate certification that is required by Health Canada. So if you are manufacturers out there that are wanting to develop our products, please let us know and we can work together.
And people who aren't familiar with like interim orders, so in Canada, they released this interim order where you don't have to get the full Health Canada approval. It's kind of like a fast track option before getting the full Health Canada approval. So this will last for, I think it's just about a year or until it expires, and then you have to go on to get the full Health Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that you're taking all the caution to make sure that this helmet is the best final product that can be used on the patient. So it's frustration free for the clinicians and for the patients. And it's great that you're doing all the testing, wearing the helmet yourself for many hours. So I can see how passionate you are about it, and it really makes me very happy to hear about more and more teams like yours around the world who are making a big change, not just in pandemic, but actually in the way respiratory distress can be treated in the world. And we have a lot to learn from Italians. We really used that for many years, and their studies are very high quality, very well done, and almost all of them just showing how the helmet is superior to the face mask. Again, just want to say it doesn't replace the intubation and ventilator. It's, I don't want people to get the wrong impression, but it can prevent that intubation for many people if it's applied on time and correctly. So do you have anything else that you want to add to this interview? And also, I will post your video about the helmet, and also I will be waiting for the helmet to actually reach me so I can do that quick review. And if we did mention already, we're looking for the manufacturers who can make the helmets, and then also clinicians who are willing to do trials. Anything else?
Yeah, so I guess just to correct you a little bit, we do have some clinicians interested in working with us, which is Dr. Arpina Shinha in Montreal. We have Dr. Nielsen McLean in Fraser Health, the medical director in Fraser Health Critical Care Unit, and also Dr. Christopher Kwan and also Dr. Ivan Scrooby. They've been helping us in pushing our team forward. And currently, we have Avicam Technologies in London, Ontario is also helping us producing some of small-scale productions of the helmet for our testing as well. But what we are lacking right now is manufacturers who has the certifications, the ISO certifications that can partner with us and help bring our design into where the patients need it.
Yeah, and another thing that I want to mention here, actually the price of the helmet is not very high. So, and it can be even lower when you find that manufacturer who can produce in high quantities. So what's the price right now around?
So right now, I think is approximately around 100 Canadian dollars. But the final price, I think it really depends on the manufacturing capability. And one thing that we imagine is that with the larger scale of manufacturing, the price will go down, which is helpful because of we would like one of our mission is to provide increased access to medical care, medical devices, and a low cost is one thing. Because we built this design through the help of so many people from Vancouver Young Hospital, lots of like business consultants, engineering, PR, photographer, videographer, everyone, we all here are volunteers working in these projects and working with Cosmic Medical. So given that our collective efforts, we hope that our design can leave a good legacy with improving the access to medical devices.
Yeah, another thing with improving the abundancy of these helmets is that we have also open source our design. So anyone can go on our website and access the full design documents and all the testing data. So it's all publicly out there, and we're not hiding anything. We're being really transparent with our efforts here.
Wow, that's a lot. It's amazing how you got all together and put all this effort to make the helmet, and now you're sharing it with everyone. This is, not many manufacturers would do that. Not many inventors would do that. So it's, kudos to you guys. This is amazing. And another thing, because of how simple the design is, it can be produced in other countries, so underdeveloped countries too, because the material that you're using, it's accessible for these countries, right? And the production is pretty easy. Well, I'm not the manufacturer, so I cannot say easy, but what I hear is you can produce in large quantities. So again, when the helmet-based ventilation.com started, I was suggesting every country who contacted me to start making your own helmets, because when you learn the system, when you know how it works and it's going to be used in the hospitals, widely in the hospitals, you will need a lot of helmets. So like, for example, Italians, they had, 200 patients in the helmet at the same time in the hospital, or even more. So this is why we couldn't sell the helmets to other countries too, because we were making helmets for them, for the Italy. So, and when you're sharing your design, it's such a humanitarian, step that you're making that's gonna change the world. So
that is our biggest hope. And we also realize that shipping from Canada or America may not be the best options because the costs are quite prohibitive. We did try to send some samples of a snorkel mask project to Brazil, and then the shipping cost is quite outrageous. So what we're hoping is that by open sourcing our design of cosmic medicals, that we can build the local capability to start developing this medical devices product and go through their own regulatory approval as well.
that's amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate for everything you do, and how fast you did it. I remember it was April 6th, I think, when we connected for the first time, and look at you now. You have a great helmet design that it's comfortable to use, and you're sharing it with the world. Amazing. Well, this is where I'm going to finish this interview. Again, I'm going to put all the contact information in an article. So if you want to help in the helmet-based ventilation, if you want to help hospitals or help in manufacturing it, please do connect with us, and that's going to save more lives. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Aurika.
taking time to talk to us. Like any outreach we do, it's just getting the word out, and more people will see it, and more people hopefully will take up the design and start manufacturing it. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
You're
we really
welcome.
appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.